cover the history here, then we're going to spread out, and I will do a round robin to see what's going on with all of your devices and kind of see if we need to stay or if we need to go. So a lot of times this takes 2 round robins to get a full feel of what's going on in this space, but I'll be honest with you, this is a space I was looking to retire this year just because I was getting disrespectful ghost hunters on your end. Like, this is a prominent English woman we're going to be discussing here, so we need to be respectful while we're here, otherwise all activity will stop. If we start getting EMF, they will go down to 0 and stay there flatlined. We will not get any messaging through spirit boxes. Like, I've been coming here for 4 years. So again, let's be very respectful while we're at this location. We'll be able to poke the bear a little bit more when we start talking about some of the other folks later on. This is not that space. However, welcome to a parking lot, Stephen. Congratulations, you made it. So this is a weird space, right? So nobody comes here because there's nothing to see. Yeah, you can hit that record button. But what is this place? This used to be something relevant to the history of Charleston. This used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion site. I'll be brief with the history here as quickly as I can because I don't like the teenagers to feel like they're back at school. So, I was like, yeah, thank you for that. I want to get you guys to work. So, who the heck were Charles and Eliza Pinckney? They had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. So that's 3 different Chucks. That's why we look for secondary clues when we're kind of going through this. I need to know which Charles is coming through in the event that Andrea gets the name Charles back there. So, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. I hate politics more than anybody here, so we're going to move on. If I don't bring that up, they normally do it for me in a spirit box very angrily, like, where's my recognition kind of mentality. So we're going to move on to Eliza anyway. Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. If you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, don't expect numbers like 12 and 14 from the colonial days that she came from. Think of today's standards, because her husband was over double her age. It was a creepy age gap in the 1700s. It's a creepy age gap now. Which, by the way, all of you spirit box people, I'm not going to be giving you questions here moving forward. Like, what color was George Washington's white horse, right? So it's just one of those pieces where you're going to get the answers from your spirit boxes for a genuine experience. Anyway, back to Eliza. She married Charles because her father was over in England. He thought he was dying. She's trying to bring all of his kids home one last time so he can see them. Eliza didn't believe he was dying, so she stayed put, and she got married. It's 1744. You don't get married in that year to get a green card. We're not a country yet. So she did marry this guy out of love. This is a true love story. So don't poke the bear about the marriage. There was no foul play at all, just so you guys have that idea. But anyway, she was right. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to where we're standing right now. You guys have been in town for a day. You've seen the word indigo somewhere. Dad sent her seeds of indigo. That is a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. That's how we use it today. I see maybe some examples in our group. It's too dark out here tonight. But anyway, that's what we use it for now. When she got her seeds, she didn't know what to do with them. She actually had to learn from her slaves how to keep it cultivated. It's not always hot here. There was a voice right there. I missed what it said though. So when she learned how to keep it going, she had to learn how to make the dye. When she learned how to make the dye, she moved it to a cash crop plantation just south of here. So when she got down there, she got a hold of her dad and said, rice plantations are going downhill. We're going to make a killing with this indigo. And we now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. That's something absolutely unheard of. So that's the boring business stuff of Eliza. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys are all here. So with the spirit boxes, I'm going to be basically focusing questions on each type of spirit box based on what you have. Keep in mind, remember that the answers can go anywhere. That's why I do a round robin. You guys are going to know what everybody else is hearing. So yeah, we'll start with yours, Nessa. So Eliza was the second wife named Eliza back to back. So you can basically ask Eliza which one we're dealing with by asking what her maiden name is. Both Elizas had a maiden name that started with the letter L. So hopefully you get an L name out of there and it's the correct one so we know who we're dealing with. You two back there, yours usually only gives me 1 to 2 syllable answers. So Emma, yours kind of works the same way. So you guys are going to have the same set of questions. The mansion's not here anymore. So you can ask what happened to it and then when did that happen. So obviously we're looking for a date. If we get the what, we normally get 2 or 3 numbers of the date. So kind of keep that, and they're very specific numbers, not like 1, 2, 3, 4. So kind of keep that in mind. So what happened to the mansion, and then when did that happen? 2 very simple questions. So the 2 young ladies with the red spirit boxes, you're going to have the same set of questions as well. It's another reason why I like to split them into different groups. We are staying away from the children. Everybody with a spirit box, do not ask about the children. I will tell you about them before we go, but we're really close to a tragic date among the children, and I'm trying not to poke the bear here. So you two are going to go after her death. That sounds happy, right? So she's pretty open about talking about it, but the 4 major questions that we get answers to are going to be the age at which she died, what she died from, where she's buried and what president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So that should tell you like how important this young lady actually was. If you go rogue with anything, just make sure A, it's not anything foul play on the marriage, and or anything about the children, and make sure it's not a yes/no question. Like pretty simple rules, right? And a lot of people ask me, am I supposed to be asking these questions out loud? That's completely up to you. There's no right or wrong way to do this. I'm just giving you the commonalities of the things that I've seen here over the past 4 years. So you can either just focus on those questions and wait and listen, because again, you never know what questions are being asked elsewhere, or you can physically ask and try to have a conversation with Eliza. It just depends on however you wanted to go about doing this. So, I don't think I need to focus on anybody specifically. I think you guys got it all down. But yeah, we're going to start spreading out. Let's get those, obviously the video cameras are already running, so I say we get those here. Anybody hear anything, by the way, before we start spreading out?
She's been writing it down with her phone.
Hash don't 47.
All that while we were standing here.
Do you remember what the number 47 is reference to?
I think it was a number.
He played for the 1947 New York Giants. That's the year he got drafted. Interesting. I do like the word cargo, by the way. I want to wait to see if something else is going to pop up with it, just to kind of clarify. Like, it's a little vague because there's a lot of cargo.
Some advertising for cargo.com.
Perfect. That's exactly the type of things you should be telling me. And a lot of people will take notes on their phone like that. If you're, want to do that because you're hearing so much, then by all means, go ahead and do that, and I'll take a look and just cherry pick what I feel is going to be relevant. But otherwise, Gail?
When we first came into this parking lot, I heard the word number 240.
I don't know what it is, but I'm definitely going to write it down.
It's a male voice. It's a number 240.
So unless it's a disembodied voice, I don't care what gender it is, simply because you're listening to radio stations.
Right.
Disembodied voices with these kind of earbuds are normally not going to be found in real time. It's going to be in a recording with much better, like when you're using better earphones. But again, don't worry about the gender. It's just a matter of like, what's the message?
Okay.
So Andrea, did you get anything out of yours yet? I did hear that like woman talking.
Yeah.
I just couldn't make out what she said.
I heard you and I.
Okay. Kind of vague. Not going to take that one yet.
Yeah.
But again, we'll kind of see what else goes along with this. What other words do you have going on with yours? Give me the last 3 words.
Collar, strip, mitten.
Mitten. Yeah, we're definitely not using mittens out here. So, very interesting. That's a weird term to find on there. And Emma, have you heard anything yet? No? Okay. It's kind of set at a comfortable volume. So, again, it's not easy. I mean, you know that, so you have one too. So, she just might struggle with it for a while. That's okay.
I have hearing loss on that ear, so
you definitely have to use your left ear. All right, guys, let's spread about. Just keep in mind in the vehicles, especially the people that are in them. So, and you're recording right now, Steven? All right, perfect. So I will kind of keep you back just for a few minutes. I always like to keep somebody back so I can show them a little bit more about their device, and that way it kind of gives everybody else a head start. It's kind of stuck with the IR cam since he's got his lights blinding that way. So sorry, Izzy, but are you recording yet? Yes,
Yeah.
you're blinking. I can see it. So I mean, again, holding at belly level is perfect. You know what I mean? And that way nobody really knows what you're doing. But again, if somebody comes out and goes to another car, just point it down. You got it. But yeah, let's spread out. So Steven, you're going to stay with me for just a few minutes. Gail, if you want to hang out too, so you can kind of see that. But yeah, spread out, and I'll be with everybody in just a minute, kind of see what's going on. All right. So with yours, I was going to point out.
maiden name. She's actually gotten a job. So I can't even use my camera right now, dog. So you just follow me. Huh? Follow me so you can actually So like, are we just kind of roaming around the parking lot?
Yeah, and asking you questions.
So is there anything to do there, like in the light?
You feel like what you're telling here is like, what was her name?
Yeah, Eliza. Hold on. Look at my camera. Hold on, Emma, move. See that? Is that something? I don't think so. It was like a bigger and more orange earlier. Huh? Ask what both of the Elizas, what their maiden names are. And if it starts with an L, then just look for an L name from Eliza. Like, ask us questions. You could ask out louder in your head, he said. It's however you want to do it. Do I go into the water and see if there's anything over there? I kind of just want to go over there and see what's over there. It's so scary. Beware? Oh my gosh, did you ask it anything yet?
Yeah, I asked her and she just told me to beware.
Huh? I know people see people out of the distance and like, who are you? Ask something else like, well, what did you ask?
What you told me to ask.
Ask, what is your maiden name? Eliza.
What is your... I can't say that word.
Eliza?
No.
Maiden.
Maiden.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, you got it.
What's your maiden name, Eliza?
Feels so cringy.
Either Eliza.
Not really catching anything. I don't think I'm gonna get much over here, I ain't gonna lie.
All time they told me to beware.
Ask again, maybe? Okay, that's a person. You can ask about the mansion.
I asked what I should be aware of.
Oh.
I want to know what these things are right here. Like,
I think it's the voice levels. Like the levels and stuff. Maybe like if you go to one that keeps on bouncing up really high, that's more, you know, active maybe. Okay, ask again. I'm gonna run around a bit. She wants to talk to you.
Well, the only thing she's going to do is be recorded. We don't know if it's her, but...
Say, like, beware of what?
I've been asking her, like...
Because maybe it's saying, like, beware, like, not, like, for you to be aware, but say, like, beware of what, not what should I be aware of?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. What should we be aware of? Or be aware of what?
I like how my phone point that so many people are coming out now.
Because of all this now.
Yeah, I can't wait till we get to like a more like secluded area so I can just like
What should we be aware of? we should be aware of that mall.
Maybe get closer up
How high
here.
it is over here.
That's a good spot. Ask again.
What should we be aware of?
Degree? Like how hot it's gonna be or how cold? Degree?
Degrees. But degrees like a diploma, isn't it?
Oh, like debris is what you're meaning? What'd you say about degree? Like diploma? That can be a diploma or like 60 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's degrees, but this is
Degree. Yeah, but it could be just a keyword for that. So you're looking at keywords.
or it could just be nothing. Like sometimes they give us random words.
I mean, like that guy, didn't he have like some like diploma thing, something like that? No, I thought he had like a scholarship or something like that from football.
Well,
Maybe. So like that's why it's in like why be aware of that?
I'm just gonna say it.
Maybe that's what.
So I think I do just say like local high. Because when you start answering.
Yeah, so right here's a good spot. Ask like, what do you mean by degree?
What do you mean by degree? Oh, we're over here now.
Yeah, go back over here where the class is maybe. I'm stuck in it though. There you go.
What do you mean by degree?
Cut that on camera. I want that. Just me recording the place and I know I can't go.
What do you mean by degree? Is that what we should be aware of?
Ask like if it's like a diploma degree or how hot it is.
That's big drop.
I know, and we are kind of by there, but we're closer here.
Hard to hear.
Hmm?
What do you mean by degree? Standing over there and he was telling us about the history. I got one that said so weak.
So weak.
Yeah. Right here. And it says signal so weak. And I gave someone's name, but I don't think anybody's named Michaela over here.
You can ask. He's over there. You want to go tell him like what's going on?
Come to us.
I thought that lady had like a cup of like some like sort of drink. It's like how come she gets a drink but I don't?
Oh, look at that. They're walking right past. Let me take a look at your work. Let's see what we got going on there. Oh, that leg. I like it. Okay. So with your camera, again, I don't always follow up with it in real time just because it is so small. You're going to get it on a nice big YouTube video. So when I do find something, you're always going to get the marker of what I found. So that way, and you'll get screenshots to see either an orb in motion, some weird anomaly I can't make out. But again, that camera, the largest orb I've ever caught has come from that thing, and it was bigger than my head. So I don't know how much you guys are into ghosts. Like, you're staring at me like I have 3 heads right now. But this thing like moved towards me, stopped, turned, and then went up and disappeared, like in frame. Like, it was craziness. And we didn't even know it actually happened in real time. It was from me reviewing it the next day.
This might be like a completely different thing, but like we have cameras at home, and like there's like orbs going around the cameras, and
It's
then
because
like
it's using night vision, right?
it has this. I don't know if it has. I think there's like an option to turn on night vision,
Okay.
and then we also like heard like a voice on it. So I can't remember.
Pretty
what
much the
it
same
said.
thing.
Yeah,
You're just using different lighting, so
Yeah.
it's the only thing.
You'd have to ask her what it sounded like because she's the one who caught
You
it.
guys can always send it to me. I'll take a look at it or analyze it.
I'll have to do that.
I wonder whether, do you know how, like you said, so Big John didn't get shot, but he almost did.
It grazed his neck.
Yeah, but the two other guys got shot.
No, he was the only one who got shot, I thought.
I thought he was the only one who, like, because there was two
Ambulance for him, yeah.
Well, was it for him or for the two other guys? Because we got him to get him up.
Yeah. And they tried to take the cat.
I just hate when they do that.
Bible.
I hate
There
that.
is a church right there.
I hate when, like, there's been, like, religion and stuff, because, like, why?
It's like, I know nothing about religions. And if I do, then I'm getting a different religion mixed up with another. All I know is that I'm Jewish.
Just come out from religion.
Stop. Drill? Like Bible drill? I don't know what that means, but I just said it. Put it together. Oh! Excuse you.
No, thank you. Are you gonna look at the camera?
No. I'm trying, but
It's still a little.
I know, like I'm struggling. Yeah, I was just saying something else.
No, you know how, like, she got married, but it wasn't for,
Oh, for, you know, like green cards. Like,
is it actual love?
yeah.
Maybe that's what she means.
Huh?
Maybe that's what she means.
Oh, you know we're coming.
And plus with how she had how many kids?
That's interesting.
I don't know, we're not supposed to talk about the kids.
Oh yeah.
Alright. And if you wouldn't mind, can you mute that for me? So I don't get distracted. That's like the one device that distracts me. Because I want to listen to it and I will keep continuing to listen and not tell you guys what you need to know. So anything higher than that 15?
No, not at all.
Okay, so let's talk about EMF for just a second before I reveal all the answers. So we got this thing all the way up to a 15 milligauss. If you were to take John's device, which by the way, have I screwed up anybody's name other than Nessa? It's just that one time?
Messy with the loudness monster.
Perfect. So if you were to take John's device, put it behind your TV set, it's going to read about 40 to 60 milligauss. So that kind of gives you a baseline of what you would find around your house. Your microwave running on high is about 150 to 170. By the way, those of you with video cameras, if you want to stop your cameras and give your hands a break, by all means do so, because we're going to be here for these. So microwave 150 to 170, the highest I've ever seen that device. So with yours, Steven, it has a nice top handle, so you can hit that record button and then literally hold it down like it's a suitcase, and we can still get footage to see if anybody's going to be walking by us that's not a human. So, but again, that's how that one works. And you're right, you can even kind of hold it a little.
Like
there you
that.
go, perfect. I mean, don't have to be pointing at me. It can be going either way. No, there you go. So this place in particular is a popular ghost tour staple. Every ghost tour comes down here. This is the one I'm retiring this year, just simply because it is too busy for my taste. But the story is still fantastic. That's the reason why I'm going to keep it in for this year. And I'm adding in a murder mystery next year. So like I said, I take out one every year and add a new one. This comes out, the murder mystery gets added in, and it's never been solved in Charleston. So I'm hoping that we're going to be able to, like, hopefully put some clues together and really get down to the nitty-gritty with it. But anyway, this place is called Philadelphia Alley. So, we got Dad involved with the spirit box now, so we're going to see what we can get out of that one. She's like, yep, it's story time. I'm going to sit down. So, this place used to be called Dueler's Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. I say some because dueling was illegal. They still had to find hiding spots. So the fact that you had hide in their homes, that's a very interesting piece that came up out of Brandy's spirit box. But anyway, they're all telling the same story. We're just going to cover it a little bit differently because you're ghost hunting. You need details, not the campfire and marshmallow kind of story. So let's get into it. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. For those of you listening to your spirit boxes and me at the same time, if you get the song Brown Eyed Girl, it is not coincidence. That's part of his name. We get it all the time. So anyway, he moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of his cash flow. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. Just didn't know if they were going to come this way. Yeah, looks like they are. Alright, maybe they're not. Perfect, look at you guys. You guys are hysterical. Super quiet group, and I turn around and you guys are all perfectly lined up. But anyway, the attorney tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor. He's just going to be right after your money. Dr. Ladd moved to Charleston to prove that he's not. So, on his way into town, the coachman that brought him in set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start to his stay in Charleston, and now we're going to let them pass through.
All of us, thank you.
Oh, you're good.
Sorry,
You're good.
thank you.
Oh, you're fine. You're good.
Thank you.
Yep, yep.
That's actually
I'm the guy that scares you in this alley, really? Wow. I know, right? I wasn't even trying. I'm like, oh, I'll be the creeper back here. But anyway, so this coachman was trying to kill him because he had a gunman inside the place where the doctor was supposed to be dropped off. But somebody seen what was about to happen. His name is Ralph Isaacs. So he, and by the way, I'm going to stop on Ralph for a second. He actually has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. We were getting the initials RI on spirit boxes all the time, so I bought a digital Ouija board. It actually has the letters of the alphabet and a little cursor that goes over it, so anytime there's an EMF spike, just like John's device, it stops the cursor and puts that letter into a separate row. We are looking to see if we are getting the letters RI, as I brought up either Ralph's or the doctor's. And we've got it, I've had it for about 6 months, we've had it at least 4 or 5 times when I brought up Ralph Isaacs. So again, RI are not together in the alphabet. It is in the regular alphabet order. So take that for what it's worth. But anyway, back to Ralph. He tells the doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. I got friends at 59 Church Street. You can stay there, rent a room, and you'll be safe. The doctor took him up on the offer, and the two became friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he wasn't after Amanda's cash flow. Now, Amanda gets wind that he's making his own money, and she's moving down so they can get married. Doctor gets wind of her coming down. He now becomes known as the whistling doctor. Men whistled back in the 1780s when they were happy. So, every closed door that comes down here will tell you to listen for the whistles. You hear how quiet it is here right now? We have 3 video cameras running plus my voice recorder. If we're going to get a whistle, it's going to show up on one of those 4 devices. On the spirit boxes, we've gotten the word whistle and the word doctor after it on a separate spirit box. Take it for what it is. Again, I've been coming here for 4 years as well, which is another reason why I'm going to retire it. Now, back to the doctor. Ralph and Dr. Ladd go some plays together, but they can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats. That's just the way the hierarchy of Charleston works. They're talking about a play one night on the way home, and they're arguing over the new actress. The doctor thought that the new actress was great. Ralph didn't. It turns into an argument, and then Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée back home in Rhode Island, Amanda. It gets really ugly. They go their separate ways. Ralph has friends around town, like I mentioned, so he goes to his friends at the newspaper, puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a you're a disgrace to society kind of mentality. So it's like the first form of social media, really, if you think about it. Same way we do things on Twitter and Facebook, right? But anyway, doctor saw the ad, but rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to settle this. Somebody's going to die. So they came down, they took their 10 paces, they turned, the doctor points his gun in the air, and he shoots. He didn't want to kill his friend. He only had 1 bullet. He just wanted to have the courage to show up to the plate. Ralph has his 1 bullet still and puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. The doctor doesn't die, but he falls to the ground. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later on November 2nd of 1786 after refusing medical treatment. So, 2 things. Gunshot wounds were a lot different in 1786 than they are now. So, it's 10 days later, and he refused medical treatment. He's a doctor. He probably just tried to bleed this out himself because he probably just thought he had lead poisoning. But he failed, obviously, because he died. Every ghost tour, like I said, will tell you to listen for the whistles. So, again, we're going to hopefully get the whistles on one of our 4 devices or something on a spirit box that's relative to the name Whistling Doctor. If you're going to try this on your own and go all the way through the alley, turn on your voice recorders on your phone and listen to it later and see what you can get. It's not always a perfectly audible piece. By the way, it's always this quiet, even on a busy Saturday afternoon, unless those air conditioners are running. I always, by the way, if you're going to do this on your own and you get a whistle in the background, just keep in mind every local knows a story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street throws a whistle down here. I do it every night. So my car, well, we didn't pass my lot tonight because we had to go up and around, but my garage is down this way, my office is that way. So I have to pass the alley every night, and I always throw a whistle down here since I got thrown out. Let me tell you about that. John's like, oh shit, you're about to tell my kids how we get thrown out of places. Good. So, that's the fun part of the story. That's why we're here. And so when I first started doing this, I need to point out a few things first. The alley didn't go all the way through this way. So there was a wall right about where those folks are standing. That's because this is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. It was called Cow Alley before it was Dueler's Alley. That means the bricks on the other side, down at the end by Queen Street, are older than the bricks we're standing on. Those are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's one full handprint at the end with fingerprint swipes in the other. So I used to take my group all the way through there and show off the handprint simply because we all need to see it, just to show how far we've come away from slavery. Now, I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. That's the last place you're going to find that child that made that handprint. Again, he doesn't want to be there. So, November 26th of 2020, my entire group is huddled around that brick, waiting for something to happen with the devices that I gave them. Nothing's happening. I'm trying to shoo him along because it's also outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm just trying to be respectful. I didn't know I was out of bounds for chores at that time of night. So the new owner came out. He's come out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because Dad's getting yelled at, and it was a good time for her. We moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving because I worked in retail management, mainly for Walmart, for a good part of 20 years. I don't work Thanksgiving. You all get my point. The next day, November 28th, I called my partner, told him what happened, and he laughed at me. He's like, dude, you can't go down that far. You're only allowed to go down halfway or reroute the group. Obviously, it's residential at the end. So I said, all right, cool. I decided to reroute my group that night, but I told them I don't believe in the next story because I've never had anything happen there, and I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. We're discussing pirates' nets, in case you couldn't, get that gist. But anyway, before we left, somebody hears the name Anne on a spirit box. I didn't tell them who we were going to be investigating. Anne Bonny, the famous female pirate. I went, oh shit, maybe we got something going on. We go over there. I told them a little bit I did know about piracy at the time. Somebody else, here's the number 300. I don't know what that means. I write it down. The next morning I do the research. We are there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial. I seen jitters and a couple of jaw drops, and I'm like, you guys are excited about that. I was pissed off. Let me tell you why. Master's degree in creative writing. I still need facts and data, especially when we're doing investigations. Pirate lore is pirate stories are based off of pirate lore. So again, it was written 100 years after the fact, unless of course you can get a hold of the captain's logs from when these pirates actually sailed. So again, very difficult to prove everything that we're about to go through. But I've read more damn books on pirates than I ever wanted to in my entire life. So everything we're going to be discussing at the next location, minimum of 2 resources. So it can be, I'll go very quick with that piece of history because it can be long if I'm not. So we will spread out in the space, and we'll be able to investigate like what we did at the Pinckney Mansion site. But before we're going to just stay out of the way of the other tours, as I'm sure you guys have already picked up on that. The gate before we leave, you guys are really quiet. So Andrea, you're like lasered right now. Like she's just like, her eyes have not blinked. I know, right? I talk fast, so it's part of the reason why I record everything. The gate. Remember I told you that the alley didn't go all the way through this way? In the event that there was a loser to one of the duels, the dead guy, this was the shortcut to get to the cemetery on the other side of the wall. Otherwise, they're carrying the dead body all the way down to Queen Street and then double backing with the dead body to be able to drop the body in the pre-dug grave before they could go celebrate the winner. The wrought iron gate was probably put here in the early 1900s, but when you guys walk by it, you can definitely see where the archway is part of the original wall. So there have been a lot of duels down here. Some say that Andrew Jackson had a duel down here. They say you could find gunshot, bullet wounds and bullet holes in the walls. That's probably part of the reason why there's so much ivy and foliage down here, so you don't have to search for them. They don't want people doing that. But again, kind of a weird space. Anything show up on our word list or anything that was heard before we leave the space?
I got Gateway.
You got Gateway as we're talking about the gate?
No, it's like a little bit before.
It's almost like they knew I was going to talk about the gate. Damn ghosts. John, what'd you hear? You're excited to tell me something.
It's really hard to determine. It just comes and goes. Come on. I thought I heard red wine. I don't know.
Like a red wine?
Yeah, just the words to that song.
Okay. It's not relevant over here. I'm still going to write it down because it's something specific. Brandy, you got something else?
I've got survive, love, any feedback, firework, our citizenship, unsuspected, living on a prayer, assigned, truth, teenager, I'm just better, I believe, no one, find a way, tried to find it, crying an apple.
That's why she's writing them down.
I got nothing.
You got nothing? It's okay, she got enough for you. You were obviously on mute.
Hers says teen too. Like it did say it.
It's also hard to focus on you
I know.
and this at the same time.
I know. but I could tell, like, she was looking down. I'm like, she's not even listening to me right now. It's just, so that's why we record everything, right? So you can go, like, this way it's a double back. You can do whatever you want to work on the spirit box. Let her work on the damn spirit box. So we are going to go up and around the corner. Definitely get you unmuted. Any readings from the EMF, by the way?
No, it was like 1.8 at the most.
Like I said, this is the place for 7. We're going to go back to 2.5 at the next location. But again, these lampposts can interfere, so that's why I go straight to a 7. And I also don't know, like, if there are a lot of other tours in here, we kind of have to pick a spot. So sometimes that spot can be near a building where it's giving off a little bit of EMF. So, but anything crazy going on with yours over there, Fred?
I mean, nothing automatic. Well, I did see like around the lakes down the
Show Mom.
for a minute, but
Mom.
Okay.
it's on there before I don't know.
You're like the most steady cameraman I think I've ever seen with that thing. So you're getting a job later, so we'll talk.
Shit.
What's it say? Well, Dr. Ladd. It says the word shit. Like, I don't think I've ever seen that on there. I've seen the F-bomb on there. And the funny thing is I hate to put it out there like this, but we'll just say that the age group of the tour that I had was well into the senior levels, the entire group, and it dropped the F-bomb on this little old lady, and I want to say her name was Betty. She's like 87. She's carrying around that, and it says the F-bomb, so I immediately took it out of the list, because all of them were just appalled that the F-word would show up on one of these devices. I'm like, all right, let's go learn about rated R pirates. You ready for this? That was a punny. Nobody. Somebody got it. Oh, we're gonna talk about him.
She's a true Johnny Depp fan. My mom's the OG fan, guys.
She is
Real. I think my mom is Johnny Depp.
She's Amber.
No.
Actually, she's Dennis.
I know. Or like they're both like not innocent
Both of them crappy
to
names.
each other.
I know you can see, but okay.
Honestly, I wasn't there.
Johnny Depp was just the good at lying.
I know. Because we're everybody loves him.
Yeah, that's exactly why he got rid of it. They looked like that. Just because he's a good actor doesn't mean he's a good person.
He did, pretty sure he did lose like a role for something though for it. But like I wasn't there, y'all. Guys, I wasn't there. It's hard who to believe too.
No one's actually a good person. No one's actually a good person.
For real, nobody's perfect or anything. Plus, like, for that, you know, whole like Amber Heard and Johnny Depp thing, it's just hard to, you know, see.
I wouldn't know better. You could do a lie detector. You could do like a lie detector.
Yeah, it does actually work. Nah.
Now, does anyone have any questions? Do you need any directions? You got a starting point, where you're parked, where you're staying? If you're looking to experience it in your own time. Nobody needs directions.
I'm gonna enjoy the breeze for a few. So that orb I was telling you about earlier, this is where I caught it, just so you know. And it was near that brick wall. So when we separate, if you guys want to go hang out over there, by all means do so. Did we get anything out of yours, Andrea, on the way here?
You wanna go to the brick wall?
Well, damn it, you only getting like 12 turns tonight.
I know.
You wanna go to the
Gail?
brick wall?
Nothing? John?
I don't know. It's just kind of weird in and out. I think it's
Stone. It was stone.
And you just got something else too. You said aisle?
yeah.
Well, going to be talking pirates, so I guess it's just going to be a matter of like what else comes up around that to kind of verify that it might be something. But stone.
Nation.
Stone Nation.
Tower?
Tower.
No.
Randy?
Of a building.
Patient, doctor, 23 rights. Now, hit the deck and discover.
Hit the deck.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking pirate ships. Hit the deck. 23 rights. It's like one number off. The doctor died at the age of 22, so that's a close but no cigar.
What was it?
The doctor died at the age of 22, not 23, so that's a close but no cigar. And then you heard doctor. That's an easy one. All right, so welcome to these powder magazine. So if that becomes too distracting for me, I'll just kind of give you the head nod as I'm kind of going through this. I'm going to be quick with this one just because, again, this history can be long if I don't breeze through it, so bear with me.
Wait, what did you just call this?
The gunpowder magazine?
I got the word magazine right before you said that.
Remind me, I don't want to whip out the notebook again. So this, by the way, those are not crosses on that building. Those are earthquake bolts. If you're not familiar with earthquake bolts, they're basically turnbuckles. So I want to get this closer so you have the recording. In the event that we have another earthquake like what we did in 1886, you can turn those turnbuckles and it's supposed to tighten the building back up so it doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. So again, I bring them up because that's the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. So that is getting to be a little distracting for me. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm screaming at you guys. She's like, damn it. So we're here because those earthquake bolts are the first set that Charleston put in because that's the oldest government building. It was finished in 1713. It was being built at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start her new life. So this is what I call a familiar. You guys all watch the TV shows where they use that teddy bear, like the Boo Buddy, with the K2 meter in there so they can attract the child ghost? It's the same principle. They do that so that way the child can recognize it as a toy. We're here because there's not many buildings this old that Anne would actually recognize. So this is what I call a familiar. Now, the building took 10 years to build. So for the adults in the room, does that sound like our government? Small buildings, 10 years to build? No, not at all. That's kind of a joke. You guys missed it. It's okay. And so Gail's looking at me like, wait a minute, where the hell were you going with that joke?
No,
it's a small building, 10 years. I know. Now she's focused on that. Nice. So, but anyway, 1708 is where the history begins. Follow me. There's a lot of twists here because I'm going to move pretty quickly. A young lady moves here by the name of Anne Cormack. She comes here with her father from Ireland. They're with his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Are you guys with me so far?
Listen.
Okay, the three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How mad was the wife that she booted them out of Ireland to come here in 1708? So again, there's no planes. That's a long trek. Anyway, they land in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. Dad bought a plantation, but Mom died pretty quickly. That means Dad is now sending young Anne down here to Charleston to sell things from that plantation to help keep things afloat. So, hence the familiar building to Anne Cormack. Now, back in Ireland, Anne was said to be a badass even back then. At the age of 7, 8, 9 years old, remember it's pirate lore, nothing is ever going to be exact, they say Anne killed one of her servants with a knife to the belly. I can't tell you how many times we've gotten knife, servant, and belly out of 3 different people without the other 2 people knowing what's going on. It happens all the time. Anyway, fast forward. The building's done in 1713, but by 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is stoked. She's going to fall in love with one of these pirates so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. It's a man's world during this time, and that's what she wants, that freedom. So, the first guy she falls in love with, and I said first guy because there's a handful, and that's what makes the story so damn interesting. That's why we're going to cover them all. First guy is James Bonny. You already see where this one's going, right? Dad didn't approve because he's a pirate. They ran away to Jamaica and got married. Anne Cormack is now Anne Bonny. That's where the pirate name came from. However, James Bonny is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy and a coward for the British. So, this is not who she wants. A few more years go by and she falls in love again. This is John Rackham. They call him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, in case you were wondering who this guy actually is. Calico Jack has his own ship, he has his own crew. Anne wants to be part of that crew. You can't put a female on a pirate crew because it's bad luck. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like the crew, you can be part of the crew. But you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this. Why? Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy back home, a boy apprentice, at his attorney office back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world. All she wants to do is be a pirate. and she agrees to the deal. But let's think about this for a second. She's a female in his quarters, so she's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl. So they drop her. He drops her off in Cuba before she starts the show, and says, "Go have the baby and come back later, and we'll figure it out." She goes and has the baby, but returns with no baby. We have no idea what happened to that child in Cuba, by the way. So she also, none of my research has ever found it. Some of you are looking at me like astonished. I've done a lot of reading on pirates. It's not there. I don't know what happened. But she comes back dressed as a female. This is what makes Jack angry. Nothing about the baby. The fact that everybody's now going to know he let a female on the pirate crew. To make Jack even more mad, he just captured another pirate crew, and Anne's going to go flirting with them down below deck, because that's who Anne is. So we're on guy number 3, in case you lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy, to be part of the pirate crew the Calico Jack just captured. So now we have 2 females, dressed like males, on the same ship. Her and Mary became, this young lady's name was Mary Reed, by the way. She went by Mark Reed. Her and Mary are now friends, possibly lovers. We don't really know, because there's no record of it, obviously. But the British find out where they are. They send a fleet of Navy ships to come take down one pirate ship. Rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up with 1-bullet flintlocks, because they don't know how to use cannons yet. So, 2 ladies with flintlocks are not going to take on a whole fleet of ships. They get arrested. As they're being arrested, she looks at her beau and captain, Calico Jack, says, "I'm so sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up on your spirit boxes all the time. The judge wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought, so he's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunken pirates that wouldn't fight. They're dead and gone. The 2 ladies go in front, reveal their gender, and hoping to save themselves. The judge doesn't give a shit that they're female. They're still pirates. He's still going to hang them. So they both scream out, "We plead our bellies," which means they're both claiming to be pregnant. So, sorry, didn't mean to present you to be pregnant, but you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail and delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne and brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary Reed because we don't really know. She has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt ending because we don't know much about her after her pirate career. Mary Reed dies 5 months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. Most books will tell you that it was fever. I say let's make it romantic and call it scurvy. Why the hell not? Now, I'm not going to assign questions here. You guys know what to do with all of your spirit boxes and communication devices. I'm just going to tell you what I left out of the story on purpose, so that way you guys have something to work with. Remember, I'm withholding information. I left out the name of Anne Bonny's parents. That's the father and his mistress. So you can ask about them and what their names are. I will tell you, I also left out the name of the city where Anne grew up in Ireland, the name of Calico Jack's ship, and the color of Anne Bonny's hair. These are things that we commonly get here, and this is a place where we don't have to tiptoe and show like that full respect like I, went over with about the Pinky Mansion site. So again, if you have to poke the bear in here a little bit, poke the bear a little bit to get your answers. Remember, they can show up anywhere. So before we separate and kind of get things started, we will stay within the confines here. If you want to go sit on that little bench by the brick wall and listen to your spirit box, that's fine too. Do whatever you want to do. This is your space. So what have we heard before we leave? I know Brandy's got a full list. We'll let you go first and out of the way.
Make all kinds of cash, resist, diamond rings, and pick up.
Sounds like a whole lot of like shady, sketchy pirate stuff, right? Nessa, what's our last few words?
Shoulder, eventually, and soldier.
Soldier. That's an interesting one. We'll see if something else pops up. Who else? John? Who's got it now?
She has it, but she is.
What'd you hear, Emma?
What'd you hear?
Money, and I heard over 200.
200? So 200 and money. We still got all of his money terms, Gail.
Jimmy, sexual, and reboot.
Yeah, that sexual thing shows up here a lot too. So I'm just going to point that out. And you've been on mute, so let's definitely get those cameras up and running. So, Steven, this is the wall I was telling you about. That's not part of this space. The closer you get to the corners, we have 2 electrical poles up there. Don't get too excited. Just kind of have that idea. So, just like to debunk that ahead of time. Dude, you've been amazing. I can always check to make sure that the camera's on the left side because I don't, YouTube doesn't know what the flippies are, so I hate when you guys get an upside down video. So you've been doing awesome, by the way. Just like to point that out. But yeah, let's get that thing unmuted, Andrea, and let's get to work. You guys know what you're doing. Let's spread out. Let's do it. Wow, you guys all go in the same direction.
Stay still. Particularly. I swear.
That's why I wanted you to say it.
Because, oh my gosh, you're so rude. I'm going over here. Come on.
You could ask what Look, mean?
Mean?
Her parents were mean. Because her dad wouldn't let her.
Maybe like the father was rude, and
Because her dad wouldn't let her marry a pirate.
and then her mother was with her husband at the time. Like she was the mistress.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Were your parents mean?
Bro, what do you think she just said?
She could be talking about something else. She could be talking about us. She could
What?
talk about you.
We're not mean.
Just you.
I'm not mean. Hey, this is the one who hits me, so like.
You hit back, so.
No, I don't.
You look at different cars that say slow bug.
We're not arguing about this right now. You gotta say
He's gonna hear arguing something about slow bugs.
Did you get anything?
The only thing I got is graveyard and mean.
Graveyard and mean, and particularly.
Which I don't think that has anything to do with it.
Bro, anytime I like point the camera at someone, their face is so close to it, it kills me. Like, I'm not trying to goof around, I promise. It's just, it happens, okay? I'm explaining myself to him on the camera.
And can you tell me anything about the pirates or the ship? He said we could poke the bear.
You should ask about the mistress thing and like how she found out, if she found out.
Oh my, how did she find out?
That's what I was trying to figure out.
That's what we got. Yeah.
I'm gonna go down there and around.
The hotter it is, then that's usually like what you're looking for. The sun's burning through, and
It was like, I think like 7 or 8.
You should ask her about, you know, how she found out.
Arctic and all kinds of mess.
About her
Yeah, I
mom and
played
her
around with
husband.
all of them.
Yeah, being the mistress.
So when I have layman folks coming in,
Can you tell me about your mom and your husband?
color this big red barn, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So I don't need Rudolph the Nose Reindeer, I just need the red that's in the middle of it. So when you get numbers like 4 out of 5, you know what I mean? I'm looking at that still as either 4 or 5 or 45. You know, it could be a year, it could be an age, it could be any of those kind of things. It could be a date, it could be April 5th for all I know. So again, that's kind of how I look at this kind of thing. Your guys' spirit boxes are slowed down. So when you guys are getting these long phrases like hiding in their homes, like that's where I'm like, okay, what key word out of that actually makes any sense, or what's not a common word to hear on the radio? The word hiding. Like we're not going to hear the word hiding on the radio a whole lot. So I'm going to be focused on the word hiding to see if there's anything relevant to that space of where somebody would have been hiding in that area. So am I going to find a story? Who knows? Who knows what I'll find?
Maybe hiding during the
duel.
Revolutionary War or something like that.
But that alley over there has seen so many different things.
Did you see that?
So
Nothing yet. I was gonna tell mom something.
So with her, as like I was telling her, it's not always a real-time thing. If she does see something in real time, I definitely take note. Like, hey, watch it during when we were at the Powder magazine, so that way I can definitely, see what's going on. But again, it is going to be up on a much larger screen, much easier to find those anomalies going by. And I have a set of criteria that I use to make sure it's not just an insect or a floating piece of dust or, that normal stuff that everybody says, there's an orb. I'm like, no, that's a bug going by, sorry. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. I debunk a lot of stuff.
Okay.
So,
I
do this
know
every
if
night.
it's a bug. They're always like attacking me. Like,
You've seen a lot of bugs in there then?
I don't know really. They just always attack me.
Have you seen bugs in there though?
I've been trying to look through it, but it's kind of hard to with how tiny the screen is. So I'm like.
Yeah, the reason why we use that is because part of the IR lighting is built into the camera. So there's 4 on the front and then 20 more up here.
Oh. And you can't see it with a human eye?
We can't see it at all with our own eyes. So it's
Is that one on?
Yep, it's on. Yeah, she probably can't see much out of it. It actually looks like it may have died.
I know we could see it when we were in the first.
Yeah. So this guy needs replaced too, so we're going to plug it in. That's why the battery pack is attached. There we go. That looks better.
Oh.
But it still has the 4 on the front that are still on, so we wouldn't have lost all of it. That guy, I've worn it out. It normally lasts for like 3 to 4 hours, but now it's lasting like an hour and a half to 2 hours. So might be time to get the new one on that one as well. All right, I'm gonna follow up. Where's Gail go? I'm gonna follow up with her and then probably run us up by the wall. And then you're already familiar with the Estes method, like you've seen it on Sam and Colby, where they blindfold.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna talk about that
Me and
next.
Esther were talking about that earlier.
Yeah. They blindfold them. One of the people
put on the headphones, right?
Put headphones on them so they can't hear anything. And the people around them ask them questions, ask the spirits questions, and they act as a channel, I guess, through the spirit.
And it's to also know that they're not listening to the questions.
Correct.
And then.
Yeah.
So I take it 2 steps further. So first off, the person that's going to be under that whole Estes method doesn't know the history either. So that way they're not like pre-loaded with extra terms. And then there's an extra addition to this Estes method that I've been using a secondary person on. So we're going to talk about that next. So that's kind of like the big finale of what we do out here. So, but when you mentioned the headphones, I'm like, okay, good. We got somebody already ready to go under. That's good. So,
Alright,
Gail. I guess ask him.
Can you ask
Did you
him?
have to pee? Is there an outhouse?
Can you ask him? I'll go over to Nessa, but will you ask him?
Where is Nessa?
She's right there.
What is she doing?
She's asking any questions.
Oh.
She's
pulling a Sam and Colby
You
over
know how
there?
like her mom was like the mistress? I told her to ask how the lady found out. We were never told about how she found out, so why not find out?
Yeah. And then ask,
She's been asking like
ask
the
what the
names
name
and stuff.
of
Yeah.
the ship was.
Oh, we asked the names of like the parents, and it said mean.
What?
She asked the names of the parents, and it said mean.
What about the name of the ship?
We haven't asked about that yet.
Or how old were her parents? And how old was she?
Has anything came up about how she found out?
No. Did you ask him what the name of the ship was?
No. I got alcohol, accept, build, contest, and pressure.
Do you use the restroom? Because I do.
A little bit. But once I started asking her about how she felt about her mom and her husband, she popped up pressure. so I just stopped asking her about it.
Aw. Like maybe she felt pressured about it.
I guess I get to be blindfolded and get the headphones.
She gets the blindfold.
The deaf one.
Are you
The
serious?
deaf one, yeah, exactly.
Is that why you got it? Because you're deaf in one ear?
No, because I was the first one to mention it.
You were actually.
He didn't hear you.
The thing is, around them.
Should have been listening.
I'ma stay mad.
I'm ready to use the restroom. Can you ask him? Ask him. Oh.
Where's your daddy?
I don't know. They're over there.
He never heard the word hell. Failure.
Hell? Help. Oh.
But you know, on like when they were like everybody was drunk, but the two women weren't.
Mhm.
Like they were sober that night. Or should we fight alcohol?
Probably. Please don't use the restroom.
No, it's mainly 5.5, 0.3. I did have I think I realized I was close to this cold. Yeah, it was like 3.5 or 3.0.
Yeah, like I said, you'll get like a 3 or 7 up in this corner. We got everybody back for anything else weird coming out of yours?
Yeah, we got pork, natural,
Colors.
red,
Wait,
hands
yellow.
on my knees, and I think it said Mary.
Ow, my tooth hurts.
Losing track of my pages here. You know, all of those are relevant. Every single one of them. Every one.
Can you?
They're going to make a whole lot more sense here in just a moment. Obviously, the Mary piece is, I don't know what you were asking. What was the question you asked about that?
I
I was
asked,
starting to think he
I
likes
don't know,
him.
I had asked parents' names, I
This is
asked
starting to
what
think that
town
you
they were
like him.
from.
He's cute. I've told you that.
Yeah. I think those were the two things I was asking.
So we've only gotten the name of the town 3 times, and yours is the 3rd time. And so it was 4.
Alright.
So, very interesting. Love her spirit box, by the way. So, by the way, at the top of our tour, I talked about that heated warning. This is one of the spaces of the reason why. So let me kind of give you that quick explanation. About a year and a half ago, I took my group to the back, just like I normally do, to stay out of the way of the other tours. And the kid next to me is about to pass out. So he's white as a ghost, and he's dropping like bad. So when I say kid, he's like 21, 22 years old. So I have to pick him up by his armpit so he doesn't hit his head on the ground. Like, he's fainting that fast. His boyfriend picked him up from the other side of him and brought him over here to right where Emma's sitting. So we got him a bottle of water. He was feeling better. It was obviously in September, so it's much cooler than this. So there's no reason for this kid to be passing out. And he felt fine the entire night. Now, I told him the story of Van Bonnie that I told you, and then I started to spread everybody out. This used to be the last stop. We still have one more to go. So I said, go have fun, and this is your last hurrah. Let's have some fun with this. The 2 guys pulled me aside and said, Nick, I have to tell you, we are 2 transgender males. And it now made sense to us of why one of them nearly passed out. I had 2 females dressed like males on the tour, just like in the story of Anne, Bonnie, and Mary Reed. So, again, this is the unexplainable stuff that I see. So that's why I always give those warnings out. If I know I have a psychic or a medium in the group, I make sure that they do not get a spirit box. Reason why is because that's a whole different style of messaging. They don't need 2 different messaging coming through. I've seen them drop like a wet noodle. Like, I can't tell you how many times this happened. I learned my lesson really fast by not giving them a spirit box. So they're going to get their own messaging. They get a camera, an EMF detector, anything but communication. They're already getting their own. So let me kind of go through the answers of what we actually just went through here and what I'm actually excited about. What were our last 3 words, Nessa? I haven't talked to you in a few minutes.
Glass, 15, and colorful.
So I am excited about the name Jackson that showed up. She actually heard the name Alan Jackson, but the reason why I get excited about that is because John Calhoun is buried on the other side of that wall, who served underneath Andrew Jackson. So she also has the numbers 347. Andrew Jackson was born in the month of March and died in the month of March. I just don't know what those years were off the top of my head. So I'm going to see if 47 is relatable to that, to see if it actually connects. So hopefully you guys are seeing like how I start to piece all of this stuff together. But all of your answers are legit. God, I'm hoping you guys didn't Google and that these are true. No. So, no, with that said, it's just Cork is like, we've only had it 3 times, and I'm like so excited that it finally came through, and especially on that spirit box because it is such an accurate spirit box. So let's go over these answers really quick, and then we're going to talk about the next space and what we're going to be doing over there, because it is not going to be like what we've been doing the rest of the evening. So, and Bonnie, one of the few pictures you can find of this young lady where she actually has a shirt on. The reason why is because she used to bare her breast to show men that they were just killed by a woman. So kind of a badass, even when she was a pirate, right? Remember, she's dressed like a pirate dude. Like, they don't know who they were just killed by. And I do get a lot of teenage boys on this group. I don't need angry moms. So you're getting my point of why you get this picture and not the bare-breasted one. So, the names of her parents, William Cormac, Mary Brennan. This was not another subliminal trick with the Mary. We just happen to have 2 in the story. And by the way, Mary Brennan was a servant for the Cormac family. So you can kind of see how that whole scandal went down and how Dad met her. So I'm not going to go into that because it's not, directly related to where we're at in Anne Bonny's story herself, but it's more William's story. Calico Jack. I will show you what he looked like because everybody wants to see what they based Johnny Depp off of. This is the guy they made your Johnny Depp character out of. He's named that because of the jackets that he wore. These jackets came from British captains that he killed. His father was a tailor. The textiles were very important to Calico Jack. Calico Jack basically stands for fancy jacket. That's where the name comes from. The name of his ship was called the Kingston. I don't expect the word Kingston to come out of any of your spirit boxes other than Andrea's. However, the word king would suffice on any other device. It's kind of like what color is a big red barn? Blood. It's the same principle. They're going to use whatever terms they can use to convey the message. However, Andrea's device picks up more disembodied voices. I'm hoping that you were close enough. I want to see if those voices you guys heard, especially with the cork, is going to be a disembodied voice. So there's ways to actually see if it's disembodied or radio station, even coming from the audio of a separate device. So I'm hoping I'm going to be able to capture that so I can actually see what's going on. So Cork was obviously the name of the city of where she grew up in, and her hair color was indeed red. So, and it was a natural red. So it's just funny that you heard natural and then red later on. So again, those are the answers to the questions. Did you guys ask anything else or poke the bear about any other questions going on? Maybe something about the child that I didn't know that you guys were asking about?
You asked questions about her parents and stuff.
Yeah.
You asked, what was the question?
Like, how she felt about her mom and her husband, and then I asked about her parents and how she was treated, and
how she found out.
And she popped up mean and pressured.
Yeah, she did not get along with her father at all. Just so you have that idea. So that could be a very legitimate answer, and coming directly. So feelings I normally don't like to try to prove, but again, we do know that her father was pretty nasty to her. Here's what's going to happen at the next location. So, you guys, some of you have heard of the Estes method, where they blindfold people and put the noise-canceling headphones on them for the spirit box, so that way they can't actually hear what's going on. So we're going to be doing that with one person specifically. So Brandy, sorry, but you're the one person. I mean, you're going to be going under. You've given us the most out of that. So, John, are you okay with that, by the way? I'm good with that. Are you okay with that, Brandy?
My mom now.
All right, perfect. So
You want to do it?
Yeah.
well, I normally put the person that's been listening all night long and has given us the most amount. So, Gail, you're not going to go under, but you're going to have a secondary part.
Okay.
Your secondary part is they've actually come up with a new app that uses a magnetometer, just like it's basically the EMF in your phone, and it's going to generate artificial intelligence images that have never been seen before, and hopefully it's going to be in a VR cam. So you're going to have like a VR helmet on while you're going to be telling us what those images look like, and she's going to be telling us what she's hearing. The two of you are not going to be part of the history portion of the next location, so you're not going to be influenced in any way, shape, or form. So for the rest of us, even watching this as bystanders, this is either super funny, because we never know what the hell's going to come out of this, and secondly, it can be very fruitful. We're only going to keep you under for 10 minutes, so again, anything more than that can be very disorienting, and I don't know how much Sam and Colby you guys watch, but there are times where you got to pull people out of this whole situation. So again, it does happen. I'm going to go over a lot of tips and tricks before we truly get started, but again, you guys okay over there?
Window.
Oh, yeah. But I'm so used to it. And Fridays and Saturday nights are the worst. People see us out here with all of our blinky lights, and I get the ooh as people drive by and all the BS that they want to throw at me. Who cares? Whatever. But with the next location, it is a lot of fun, even as bystanders, to watch how this is going to go down. Has everybody here seen like how AI generates an image, by the way?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it seems like most of you, anybody has not seen how that works? Okay, perfect. You
Not-
will be
I don't
getting.
think I have.
Oh, good. The one person that's going to be going under. Awesome. So you're going to see it firsthand. But all of the images that she's going to see, you will get back in your data page tomorrow. Obviously, if it's relevant to what's going on with that particular ghost, then obviously I'll have notes in there with links to be able to verify the information. But you're all going to see those images before we leave the space anyway, because you're going to be using my phone. So again, this is something new that they just literally brought to the States a few weeks ago. It's called a Seer app, and it's by the same company, ironically, by the same what Steven's using. Ghost 2 made it, and it's called Seer. It only works in certain phones, and I got a hold of them and kind of said, hey, walk me through this. This is what I do with my tours. And he's just like, this is awesome. Have a free subscription to try it out. I'm like, sweet, let's go ahead and do this. But we were going to be filming the entire thing as we're there. So the best picture that we're probably going to get out of this is going to be coming from Izzy's camera, just because it's the clearest. And obviously I want you guys kind of filming the other two as well. So Fred and Steven, but you're going to be basically filming things around us just to see if anything's going on with that kind of mentality. Yeah, so your spirit box, you can listen to it along the way, but I'm going to take it from you once we get into the next location. Any other major questions about pirates that I might be able to answer for you? I've read more books than I've ever wanted to. I told you that. Alright, I say we go blindfold some people. You guys ready for this? Every year, this was the new space, so I only had 2 people that night. The person with the spirit box, here's the name Henry, the year 1828. I have the digital word list, and I get the name Tim. Behind me is Henry Timrod, born in 1828. So I was all excited, like, holy cow, there's my ghost. So, his history is very quick. He was born in 1828, so he is a poet, and he's very sick for most of his life. He's old enough to go fight in the Civil War. So, he goes to fight for the Confederate side. Let's actually move a little bit closer to Andrea, so I want to make sure they're not hearing any of this. That way she can stay seated. So he goes out to the fight on the battlefield, and his comrades realize he's too sick to fight. So they sent him home, and they said, go be the voice of the war. They knew he was a writer. They wanted him to write poetry about what was going on in the battlefield. So he came home, started writing poetry. He becomes known as the Laureate of the Confederacy. That's a pretty big title for poets. Anyway, a few more years go by. He has a son named Willie. His son is born on Christmas Eve and dies 9 months later. Obviously, it's a very tragic death for him and his wife, Katie. And a few more years go by, and Timrod is not writing as much as what he normally does. His college friend, another poet colleague, realizes this and says, go use my cottage in the middle of the state, and you can finish working on what you're supposed to be writing out there. Leave your wife alone back, with her parents back here in Charleston, and you go get your work done. He goes out there and writes his last words. His last words were, beholder of brief mortality. Translates to, person of short life. And then he coughs, and it lands on the page in a blood stain. That blood stain, he had tuberculosis, in case anybody was wondering. That's where the death came from. He dies right on the page, but the blood stain looks like a man writing at his desk. So it's a perfect marking for him to leave us with this blood stain. They show this book one day a year at the Charleston Library Society on Halloween only. You've got to be part of the Library Society to be able to go see it, but the internet's beautiful. So I'm going to show you the page, and then we're going to go talk to Brandy as if she were Henry Timrod, while Gail is actually telling us what images that she's seeing coming out of her device. So, let's take a look at this blood stain, because that's always fun, right? Looking at blood. So, you can obviously see this is his last page. Your blood stain looks just like a man writing at his desk. We call this the blood book here in Charleston. So the whole page tells me the whole story, because it does say beholder of brief mortality. But, again, Henry Timrod's legacy, he died at the age of 38. So he's a pretty young guy. So, you ready to go see how this is going to go? You ready to see Mom kind of give me some crazy answers? He's like, yeah, I'm cool with that. You guys are super quiet, man. We gotta get you guys up.
I'm a little bit nervous.
Portion. How did you not know what portion was?
I didn't know if it said portrait.
Oh, portrait's different. It has an A.
Or look how high it's going.
I know.
And we're trying to get closer.
What incarnation?
What's that word?
Logical.
Right.
Okay, I'll take it and figure it out, and I'll give you the explanation.
Bro,
Alright, so
I need one.
here's the thing. I'm only going to keep you guys under for 10 minutes. The reason why is if any longer than that, it's very disorienting, like I mentioned before. So, in the event, Brandy, because you're not going to be able to want to hear us, so a family member is going to be nearby, and when we're ready to tap you out, somebody's going to tap you on the leg. So, Emma, I'm going to volunteer you. She's like, you're going to have to come over and touch her on the leg when I tell you to. It's not a big deal, right?
Just when he says so.
Just when I say so. If she's talking too loud, you got to tell her, you got to tap her on the shoulder. You get to tell Mom what to do. Isn't that pretty cool? No?
Valley.
Oh, it's going to get her excited
Yeah,
about something.
Valley. Controversial.
So obviously, you shot me in the ear holes. So you're getting the point. All right, so hang on to that for just a second. We'll put it on you. You're literally going to be telling us everything that you're going to be hearing out of the spirit box, including yes/no answers. You don't know what I'm asking. I might ask our ghost if I'm wearing a gray t-shirt. I'm expecting a yes. So tell me everything that you're hearing, including the word Charleston, yes, no, anything that comes out of it. You were obviously very good at this, so we're going to see what we can get out of this particular location. So I'm going to be watching both of your breathing just to make sure you guys are okay. If we have to tap you out early, you're still going to get the tap on the leg. That means you're going to be pulling off your own gear. I will never touch either one of you. You're obviously going to be able to hear us and hear my weird questions. You just don't know what the hell they're going to be pertaining to. All you need to do is you're going to have black smoke moving around as kind of a background. Tell us all of the pictures that generate over top of that black smoke. Plain and simple. So I'm going to set it up for you. And at this point, when you get under, like, you're going to do earbuds, then blindfold. I'm sorry, blindfold first, earbuds, and then Emma's probably going to have to help you with those noise-canceling headphones. So you might have to get behind Mom, and what you're going to do is you're going to pull this over her head.
Excuse me.
And put them over her ears, just like that. So you're going to pull down like this.
I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to be recording this whole thing.
Yeah, you don't need to rip them any further. They'll move when you put them on.
Those look so cool.
Erase the pictures from last night.
Emma, give up.
Save new pictures from the pictures on there from the previous day. Perfect. Just set it up real quick, and then I'll slide it in there, and you'll slide the whole thing over your head, or you can just hold it up to your face. Everything's been sanitized. So from the person that used it yesterday, I'm very adamant about that. Stick with it. I go through Lysol wipes. You would not believe it. Yep, earbuds in, and then go ahead and put those noise-canceling headphones over top. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, we're not moving around. We're sitting here watching you. You're the star right now.
Your head
Wow. I didn't mean to cause a family fight here.
I don't think she can hear any more insults. Plunge?
Your adjustment for vision and focus is right here, and you have two tabs for thumbs underneath to move it back.
That's what I thought. I could have put like plunge.
You need to focus it, so I'll move it back.
get in trouble.
I told her not to touch the volume. Brandy, can you hear us? Brandy, can you hear us? Perfect. Alright, so it is 11:08, and we're going to start now. So, Henry, if you're here, can you tell us what your occupation is, please? Henry Timrod, can you come forth and tell us your occupation, please? And
Radio.
There's your heard, radio. Keep an eye on that word list for me. Let me know if stuff pops up there. And all of a sudden, she's going to get quiet. Henry Timrod, can you come forth and tell us what your occupation is, please?
See a slight image of a baby.
A baby. Okay. Henry, do you want to talk about your son right away?
The baby keeps
It's going to like try to produce
off to the right.
Yeah. And then it'll stay there for a few seconds. Emma, lift her earmuff up and tell her she's supposed to be talking to us.
You're supposed to be talking. What?
You're supposed to be talking to us directly.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. You're not supposed to memorize everything.
I heard when you look.
Okay. Sometimes people forget they gotta tell us what the hell they're hearing. Okay, Brandy, can you hear us? Perfect. Henry, now that we have everything straight, can you please tell us your occupation? Or if you want to tell us about your son, tell us something specific about him. Henry, can you come forth and tell us your occupation, please? He's like a crow back there.
It's right over there.
Love it.
Can't.
Henry, we've got a picture that showed up on our viewfinder. Can you tell us who that is in the picture?
Interaction.
Henry, who's in the picture?
Shadow.
I thought for sure we were gonna have to shut her up. Like, she isn't really giving us much to, like, I thought she was literally gonna be like chitter chatter. Henry, this is Brandy. She can hear you. Can you answer those two simple questions for us?
You will not forget.
Who's in the picture? Or tell us your occupation to prove that you're here, please. Wow. Andrea, you got nothing either?
Yeah, smoke. That's what I see, smoke.
Yeah,
And
she's got a smoky background.
That same baby picture just keeps going.
Not much I can do about it.
Not much I can do about it. Henry, I need you to really push forth and tell us simple answers tonight. No parlor tricks. Teach us something about you, please.
Any way, shape, or form.
Henry Timrod, are you even with us? That's a yes-no question.
Office.
Yeah, it's okay to have Tourette's. Just showing them out. Henry,
Enemy.
who was the enemy? Who was the enemy? Did you go to war?
Smoke again.
Henry Timrod, did you go to war?
Manage the madness.
Tell us what war you fought in, Henry. Who was it between, or what the name of it was will suffice.
Political.
Oh, there's a good one. Henry, what sound are we hearing right now? What sound is coming out of the church? What did we just hear?
He's through.
It's been about 6 minutes already, everybody, just so you guys know how quick this goes. How's our wordless
Just
coming?
a shame.
Loss, force, strength, interaction.
You need to fight later.
Talking about that war again, Henry. Who was it between?
The river. Picture.
Henry, can you tell me what the war was about? Who was it between? What was it?
Discovered.
Courageous. Transfer.
Henry, you really need to push through and let us know that you're
I
here.
know you.
You're not giving us much tonight at all.
Hold up.
Uphold.
Oh.
How many times?
No images at all, Gail?
Just that same
Oh,
baby
I'll look
comes
at
up every
backwards.
time the smoke clears.
Really?
Happy days.
Waste.
Henry, let's talk about something where you were happier. Tell us the name of your wife, please.
Unwanted advances.
5 days.
He was her school teacher. She was only 16 years old when they met. Unwanted advances. I like it. Henry, how old was Katie when you met her?
Yeah.
Henry, how old was Katie when you met her? We're running out of time. We're not getting a whole lot from you tonight. Gail, nothing? Falling asleep under there?
Goodbye.
Nothing.
Are you, Henry, would you like us to end this? Do you want us to go home? That's a yes/no answer. She just heard something weird. Henry, we've got about 1 minute left. What do you want to tell us? We've got several questions tonight. Feel free to answer any of them.
04.
Anything about your son, the sound that we heard from the church, name of your wife, how old she was when you met. Anything about the war you fought in? Alright, Henry, I'm going to call it since you've already said goodbye. So I guess I will see you tomorrow night. Can you say goodnight back to us?
Sure. That night.
I am here every night, on a tour. Alright, I think it's safe to say we need to tap her out. John, go ahead and tap her on the leg for me. Go ahead and pull up your head here, Gail. Alright, so the two of you, don't get up. Don't move. I don't need baby giraffes falling on the ground, so don't move for a few minutes. So, Brandy, how long do you think you were under? What did it feel like? There are no images in the gallery whatsoever.
I just saw this sort of image. It looked like a baby's head, and then it would go off to the right.
It is empty.
Yeah, that's all I saw.
Wow, that's only happened like one other time. So other nights, there are some nights I've had like 10 pictures. Normally the average is about 4.
Yeah.
But this only happened where we didn't have anything once.
Huh.
So that should say something all by itself that we didn't have anything coming out of you at all. We had very vague, maybe relevant things, but nothing where I'm going to pinpoint where it was definitely conversational. This should feel like a conversation. Like, hey Henry, tell me your occupation, and he should say something like pen, or write, or ink, or something relative to writing because he was a writer. Like, it should feel like a conversation. I didn't feel like any of that happened, so I would definitely call this session completely unsuccessful, especially since we don't have anything as far as images go. We have a claim of you saw a baby image. We don't have the proof of it, unfortunately. So I don't know why that image did not save, but you said it kept coming up.
Yeah, but it was like, of course, I don't know what I'm looking for. So it kept on coming up on the right side. Every time the smoke would clear, that would pop up and go away. And then the smoke would clear, and then that would pop up and go away. So I don't know if it was just...
Yeah, this sounds almost like a glitch.
Yeah.
Because it normally would come up across the whole screen, so you can see it with both eyes, and it'll kind of like form and be there for 10 to 20 seconds, and then disappear.
It was not like that.
Yeah. So it sounds to me like there was almost like a glitch in the app.
Okay.
So again, it might not be that it wasn't here at all, but could be, but it could also be a glitch in the app.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get in contact with the developer and make sure there weren't any hiccups or any updates that I need to do. But again, I would call this completely unsuccessful. You can go ahead and stop your videos at this point.